Grabamos.
So hi Janine, it's a huge honor having you here and having an interview with you. And you have a lot of interviews talking about rituals, and now it's different issues. It's going and talk to the how somebody that is coming to an organization can start learning and how the organization start learning. So can you tell us a little about more?
I would love to, but I just want to say, first of all, it's an honor for me to be with you.
Oh, thank you.
Because I have so much respect for your work, and it's been such a pleasure to work with you for,
It's very much
for so many years now.
Yeah, 12
Really.
years.
Yeah. So I would, because I've done other interviews about stories and rituals, which I love to talk about, but I'm also very interested in how we enter into doing trainings with people and working with organizations in a way in which we enter as learners, and how we support organizations to be learning organizations, which Hukoni very much is. And I remember some of the things that I learned very early on from either Hukoni Ecuador or Hukoni Mexico. For example, Sylvia Reyes, when I first started working with Hukoni Ecuador more than 15 years ago, she said, hey, yeah, you can come and do some things with us, but you've got to come spend a couple days with us first, just going out in the camiones, out in the buses, going out to the barrios, and being with the educators and therapists and learning from them directly. And I remember the first time I went out, to see the respect that the workers had in these barrios, in these communities where the police wouldn't even enter, and seeing how they were connected. You know, people come, well, how's your mother? You weren't here last week and I heard your mother was sick, you know, saying to one of the educators, and seeing the relationships and the trust that had been developed, and also learning just very specific things like, hey, we're going in the bus for 2 hours, several buses, before we get to this very marginalized and isolated area of the city of Guayaquil. How can we use that time? And, you know, and we started figuring out, well, hey, we can do some case planning in the bus with protecting the confidentiality of the family, you know, talking about son number 1, son number 2, the father, the mother, not using names and so on. But I mean, 4 hours of travel to do one family visit of an hour and a half, or 2 family visits. I mean, that's a lot of time. So how can we start to use that time? And I wouldn't have been able to even begin to understand both the respect that they had, or how we could maybe work differently with this travel time, if I hadn't actually done it. So entering as a learner, Sylvia really brought me to this point of saying, hey, whenever you can, go earlier than the training actually starts, so that you can go and find out. Just like when you picked me up from the airport this time, and you started to help me understand, okay, what's happening right now? What do I need to know? And a second thing that really stays with me is when Allison Lane and I first worked together, you know, some 12 years ago, and just seeing her amazing capacity to connect across all different parts of the organization of Hukoni, and how she validated the trainings by saying, hey, I'm coming to the trainings. I'm going to be in there with you. Other people are working on their genograms and talking about their own family legacies and how this can impact them in terms of their therapeutic work. I'm going to share mine too. And
It's powerful.
It's very powerful because it validates that the work that people are doing on the front line is important. She's there hearing about that work, seeing with it, but it also validates the importance of collaborative. You know, it's not a hierarchical kind of, well, I'm up here and I'm, you know, organizing things from up here, and you're down here doing the front line work of actually going out into the communities. I'm here with you and we're collaborating. with what needs to be done. And she learned a lot about their work. They learned a lot about who she was as a person, which is very important, I think, within an organization, that we are relational beings, and we want to know each other. We want to be connected. And when I've done some other training sometimes, and I haven't been able to get buy-in from people who are in positions of power in the organization, or I haven't done it carefully enough, and so they don't become part of the training, it really changes the dynamic of the training, and it really changes the dynamic of the power of what is being learned and worked with and studied and examined.
So it's a huge... Okay, we can make a pause here.
Okay. Okay.